Okay, so I just completed the next row, so that means I can mark it off of my chart. I did one green, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 orange. Yep. And then I did 2 brown ones this time. And then I did 3 green ones. I mean, sorry, 2 green ones right there. 1, 2, yes. Okay, and then that means I'm gonna go down, turn the corner. Oh, sorry. I did 2 green ones, and then I'm turning the corner, and then I'm going down this way, this direction. Okay, so turning the corner in the same way, I'm gonna chain 1, and then I'm going to turn my work and slip stitch along this edge, so then I can keep this line going across there, okay? So clip on my yarns here. I'm about to, if you see, I'm about to run out of my orange, so if I do but I am almost finished with the orange, but if I do, then I will show you how I do a magic knot. Somebody had asked me about that in a previous video, and so I'll get a chance to show you how I do it. Okay, so I've clipped on my yarn bobbins here, so I'm going to turn my work over. Okay, now I'm going to unclip so then I can get to where I need to be, starting this next row. And you see, this was a yarn ball. I was not able to clip it, so it did get a little bit crisscrossed with my orange, so I'm just gonna straighten that out. Okay, and now I'm ready to go. Okay, so I turned my work. Let's go ahead and slip stitch up that edge there so we're ready to start our next row. So slip stitch in the first double crochet, in the next one, slip stitch again in the third double crochet, and in the top of the chain 3 space. Okay, now we're ready. Okay, so we go back to our chart, and we are now up here. Oop, not in the screen again, sorry. Okay, so now we're here, and we're gonna go down this direction, okay? So we're gonna do 2 green ones, and then a brown one, just one. And then look here, we have a green one we have to put in there, but our green one, okay, let's show you, I'll show you on the square here. So the brown would be here, the green would be here, and then the brown, and then there's a green that's going to be stuck in there. Well, our green is way over here, okay? So since we still have more green ones along this edge to finish up right there, I don't want to cut this one. So what I did is I just got some more of my green yarn, and I just rolled up a small little ball, because I think, yes, I'm only going to have one square right there that I have to do, and then I'm going to follow down here, and then when I come back, I'm going to use this green that's down here to finish that off. See, so I'm only going to need that one single square of green. That's kind of an oddball there. So all I did was I just got a small little ball of yarn to help me to get that one green square in there that I need. Okay, so continuing on after that little side note. Okay, so we're going to have 2 greens, 1 brown, and then we're going to add in a green to get that little square there. And then we're going to pick up our orange, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 orange, and then we're done with the orange. And then we got 1 green to pick up on the edge. Okay, so let's do that. And these rows are getting shorter because we're decreasing, okay? So we're getting toward the end. This is going to be just like we did the corner to corner of the other tutorial, okay? Okay, so back to our project here. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And go ahead and make our square. 1, 2, 3, okay? And then we're going to connect it with a slip stitch, and remember on our chart we're going to do 2 green ones, so we go ahead and connect it and keep on with the green. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 double crochets to form our second square. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we got our second square of green. Okay, and then on our chart we see that we did these 2 green ones, and now we need to do a brown one right there. Okay, so we're going to pick up the brown that's already there waiting for us. And remember, put it to the back, put our hook into from the front, and then bring that brown through and make a slip stitch, okay? And then pull on the green just a little bit to snug it up, and then just keep going on the brown. And we only need 1 brown square. So 1, 2, 3, oop, lost my hook. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then put our hook in like we're going to join, but here's where we need that green square, because we did our brown one right here, okay? And then see, we have this green square right there before we go on to the orange ones. So I don't want to mess with these, that's another southern expression. I don't want to cut this one or the one that's connected over here, because we're still doing green ones on the edges. So I'm just going to take my other little ball of yarn and I'm going to attach it just like I did the others, and then get that 1 square in there that I need of the green. Okay, so hold it, pull the brown a little bit to snug it up, and then continue on with the green. So 1, 2, 3, and then remember, when you're going to be doing the 3 double crochets, I like to work over that straggler of the green that I just attached. So 1, whoop, I lost it again. Okay, 1, and 2, and 3. Okay. So there's that 1 green one that we needed, which would be this one on the chart right there. Okay, so now we're back onto the orange, and we need to do 4 of them, okay? So we'll bring our orange up, bring it to the back so we can get the hook in front of it, go into that place where we're going to do the slip stitch, which is the space between the chain 3 and the double crochet. Bring in our orange with a slip stitch, pull up the green just a little bit to snug it up, and then continue with the orange. Pull out some slack here on my yarn. So now we need to do 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets. Oop, okay. Okay, and then the second one right there. 1, 2, 3, okay, and then the third one. 1, 2, 3, okay, and then 1 more. Really playing with yarn chicken here. Let's see if I have enough here without joining on more orange. Champ 3, and then go 1 double crochet, 2, woohoo, gonna make it, I think. 3, yay, okay. Now we can connect to this square with a slip stitch. Oh, but, almost made a boo-boo here. Okay, so we did 4 orange ones, right? Now we got to change to our green. So to do the slip stitch, we're going to go ahead and let that alone, and we're going to get our green and put our hook into the hole, and then bring it from the back and slip stitch, okay? And then tug on our orange a little bit, and then chain up 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make our single green square to finish off that row. There. Okay, so now we're going to connect with a slip stitch up to the top of that square. And now let's look at our chart. Okay, so we did the 2 greens, we did the brown, we did the single green, and then we did 1, 2, 3, 4 oranges, and then we did the 1 green. Okay, then we go up and go the next direction. And if you look on the chart, we are totally finished with the orange. So that means this straggler of orange, I don't have to add any more. I'm done with the orange, so I will just weave this in when I'm done. Okay, now I do advise, though, if you're doing a lot of color changing, to weave in some of your ends. So you can see on this side I've got a few tails here and there, but this pattern is such a simple pattern that you don't have that many yarn tails to deal with, and so you can go ahead and just wait until the end to weave in your ends. It's no problem. There's only going to be just not that many to do. But if you're changing color a lot, which that will come in handy to weave in your tails as you go, or at least every 4 or 5 rows or so, go ahead and weave in your tails. That will come in handy doing that when we do the next part, or the part 2, or the next square of this project. Okay, so back to our square here. Got that another little side note. Okay, so we're done with that row. We're done with the orange, yay. So all we got is the green, and we have a few more, oops, okay. The green, and then a few more browns here to go to finish off our stem, and then we have the green on this edge, and so it looks like we have 2 more rows to go, and we'll cut off the brown, sorry. We'll cut off the brown, and then we'll just zoom up and finish it all the way up to the corner, okay? So the next row, like I said, it's getting simpler and simpler. So this one we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greens. Okay, so I like to put dots when I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to have 2 browns and 1 green. Okay, so why don't you finish this next 2 rows, or finish this row. I'll meet you up at the top of the chart. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greens, 2 browns, 1 green, and then I will meet you up at the top, and then we will head back down because we're going to be finishing off the brown at that time. Okay, so meet you back in a minute. Okay, so we just finished the row, so let's mark off our work here. We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green ones, so let's mark those off. And then we did the 2 brown squares, and then we did 1 green square. Okay, so now we're up at the top. We're going to turn the corner here and go back down again. Okay, so let's do this one together, because we'll be cutting off some of the colors here. Okay, but while we're in this position, let me go ahead and show you. Okay, this was the little ball that I added for that 1 green square, and as you can see, when we finish the 5 of this previous row, we got our yarn tail up to this level here. So now this is just extra. We just needed this yarn ball for that 1 square that was kind of an oddball. So we can go ahead and cut off that. Just leave yourself a good tail to weave the ends in. Okay, so there. We don't have, so all we have is these 3 colors. We don't have the orange anymore, and so we're getting down to the end of our square here. Okay, so let's go on. We're going to chain 1 so we can turn our work. Okay, we turn the work over. Let's go ahead and make sure our bobbins are all in the right spot. Okay. Okay, now we look at our chart. We're going to do 1 green square, 1 brown square, and we'll be done with that. And then we finish off the row with all the greens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greens. Okay? So 1 green square, 1 brown square, and then 5 green squares. Okay, chain up 3, and then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm done with that green. Put that over there, and then we need to do, according to our chart here, we need to do 1 green, and then we got 1 brown to do. Okay, so let's do that one. Put it toward the back. put your hook into the space where we're putting our next square. Pull the brown through and slip stitch with a slip stitch. Tug on your green to snug it up, and then go ahead and do your brown square. So 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we're going to connect it right there with a slip stitch. But as we see in our graph here, we are done with the brown, so we're going to let go of that, and then we're going to pick up our green. It's right in the space that we need it to be. So now we're going to do green for 5 squares, and that'll take us all the way to the other side. Okay. One, 2, there's our third double crochet to make that square. Okay, so now we need 4 more. Connect with a slip stitch there. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then slip stitch to the next step up there. And then 1, 2, 3 chains, and then 1, 2, 3 double crochets. Slip stitch to connect there. And then 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets there. 1, 2, 3, and 1 more. So slip stitch, and then chain up 3. 1, 2, 3, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now we're going to slip stitch to connect it. Okay, now we're going to look at our chart. Okay, so we just did 1 green one, 1 brown one, and then we did these 5 green ones right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to turn and come back up the other direction. And as you can see, from now until the end, we are done with all of our colors except for the green. So we can go back to our brown right here. Okay. And we can go ahead and cut that off. Just leave yourself a tail that you can weave it in. Okay, so set that aside. Okay, so now all we have is the green to finish it up. And I'm going to go ahead and let you finish it up, and I'll meet you up at the corner. You're just going to be decreasing exactly the way we did when we finished off our squares on the corner to corner tutorial. In just the way we're doing it now, where you're going to chain 1 here, turn your work, and then slip stitch across to get you into the position to make your squares to go down the other direction. Okay, can get you started on that. So chain 1, flip your work over, and put that bobbin on that side. Okay, and then you slip stitch across here, just like that. Slip stitch into the chain 3, top of the chain 3, and then chain 3 up. And now see, now you're going to start your square going up. Okay, and you're just going to go up this direction. On this row, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 green ones. Everything's sliding over. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then when we get to that side, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to chain 1, turn your work, slip stitch across that edge of that square, and then that'll get you to this area right here to make this square. And then you're going to go down this way, and see, this time you're only do 5. Then when you get to here, you're going to turn and go this direction, and then this time you're only going to have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to turn and do the same exact thing like we've been doing, and then you're going to have 3. And then you turn and go this way, and you have 2, and then you have 1 right in the corner, and then you're done. Okay, so now we are going to zoom ahead here, because shouldn't be any troubles now. We don't have any colors to change. In fact, since we're going to go all the way across here, then we don't need this anymore either, because we're just working from this one bobbin. Okay, so we can go ahead and cut that off. Okay, set that aside. So see, now all we have is just this one bobbin that we're working. So we're just going to go back and forth, and like I said, we're decreasing on each side as we're going, and so each row will have one less green square. Okay, so I'm going to continue on here like that, connect to the top one, slip stitch, and then just keep on a going. That kind of sounds southern too, doesn't it? Anyway, keep going until you get to this edge. Chain 1, turn your work, slip stitch across the edge, and then start going down the other direction. Okay, and just follow along with your chart. When you're done with the row, mark that row off, and you know you're going back and forth motion. Okay, so we'll see you up again when I get to the corner. And then slip stitch to the top of this block. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to fasten off. So we're going to cut our yarn, and then chain 1, and then just pull it all the way through and pull tight. Okay, there is our square. Now all I have to do now is weave in the ends. So if you look on the back side, see I have some tails here I need to weave in. Okay, okay, so I finished my pumpkin, I weaved in my ends, and one thing I did do extra that's not on the chart is I just took a little bit of this yarn, the Cafe Latte, what I used for the stem, and I just did this running stitch across the top here, just to give some little definition, because it just seemed like it needed a little curving to it. Not curving, I don't know, definition I guess you'd say, to the pumpkin, to make it look more like a pumpkin instead of just almost a round circle. But play around with your pumpkin however you want to do it. Since it's going to be hanging on the wall, and so the stitches here, I know they're kind of rough on the back, but these are not going to be shown. So just decide which way you want your little stem to go, because otherwise it's symmetrical. So just decide which way you want your stem to go, so that way that will be the right side of your picture, and then of your pumpkin, and then you can put these little detailed stitches if you want to, or you can just leave it plain. Okay, so thank you so much for coming along with me and making this square with me, and stay tuned for square number 2 in this fall Grafgan Along project. So we'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.